Welcome to Conservative Viewpoint, where the truth always matters. Your hosts are Charlie the Country Conservative and Brendan Statler from The Brendan Statler Show. Now on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Conservative Viewpoint. I'm your host, Charlie, the Country Conservative.
And I'm Brendan Statler of The Brendan Statler Show.
Today we dive into the heart of some of the most pressing issues facing the world. So buckle up because we're about to dissect the tangled web of the Middle East, the ongoing wars between Israel and Iran, and I'm having trouble with my mic again, in the murky waters of Joe Biden crime family syndicate corruption. The Middle East has been a hotbed of tension, a place where ancient rivalries and modern geopoliticals collide. From the desert of Saudi Arabia to the bustling streets of Tehran, this region pulses with history, culture, and strife. But let's focus on the current flashpoint, the Israeli-Hamas conflict. Former President Barack Obama recently dropped a truth bomb that reverberated across the media. Oh, let me check where I'm going at here. Nobody's hands are clean. He reminded us that this conflict isn't black and white. Yes, Hamas attacks are horrific, but he can't ignore the unbearable plight of Palestinians living under Israeli occupation. It's a Gordian knot of historical grievances, territorial disputes, and human suffering. Ask conservatives, and Obama is so far from being conservative, we must grapple with the complexity, resisting the urge to simplify. Meanwhile, the chessboard in the Middle East features intense match: Israel versus Iran. These two region powerhouses vie for dominance, each with its own agenda. Israel, surrounded by enemies, fights to protect its existence. Iran, with its nuclear ambitions, poses a formidable challenge. The stakes are high, and the world watches nervously. Will diplomacy prevail, or will we witness a cataclysmic clash? Only time will tell. Now let's shift gears to the domestic matters. Joe Biden's family corruption. It has been under scrutiny, and rightly so. Allegations of corruption swirl around 100 Bidens in a business dealings, with questions about influence peddling and the shady connections, the laptop saga, the policeman's affair. These are not merely conspiracy theories. They are real, and they demand answers. As conservatives, we believe in accountability, transparency, and the rule of law, and the Democrats do not. Let's keep the pressure on, ensuring that no one is above scrutiny. I hope you guys are all having a good Friday and are ready for the weekend. So sit back, get your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Now, you guys, we got some breaking news with the Biden administration. Inexplicable move may have just escalated the Israeli-Iran clash in a way that neither one of those nations they wanted to avoid. The Biden administration may have just committed another foreign policy blunder. Explosions from an apparent Israeli drone attack were reported Friday in Iran's Isfahan province, which is a home of an air base and nuclear facilities, according to the Associated Press. Fox News and CNN were among the outlets quoting the U.S. officials and saying that Israel carried out retaliation strikes in response to Iran's April 13th attack on Israel. But according to the Jerusalem Post, this was a massive mistake by President Joe Biden and his administration. The government sources told Israeli news outlets that Israel is not officially accepting responsibility for the attack for strategic reasons. Now, the source told the Post that Iranians were claiming it was an explosion in their factory in an attempt to avoid further escalation. So it is unclear why the Pentagon disclosed to the American media that Israel was involved. They could have remained silent. They could have preserved Iran's dignity and avoided escalating the situation on their own. So this goes to prove how much of a screw up Joe Biden is and how he is causing issues around this world, not helping them. So I guess only time will tell when we see what happens with this, because this is a huge mistake. This is a huge screw up. So I guess we'll see what happens here soon.
Yeah, nothing good could come from it at all.
I don't think so.
No, I don't believe so either. So you want me to go into this now, or?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, if you're ready, go for it.
Yep. Okay. I just want to make sure you were finished with yours. Okay. So this afternoon, a man had set himself on fire outside Donald Trump's court hearing in New York today. The man had horrifically set himself on fire, has been identified as 37-year-old Max Azzarello. I think I'm pronouncing his last name right, from St. Augustine, Florida. The Gateway Pundit reports prior to setting himself on fire on Friday afternoon, Azzarello penned an alarming manifesto that he posted online warning of what he described as an impending apocalyptic fascist world coup. Azzarello made his way into the public park across from the 100 Center Street Courthouse at approximately 1:30 p.m., coinciding with the finalization of the jury in Trump's hush money Soviet show trial. Witnesses say that after removing his jacket, Azzarello doused himself with what is believed to be an alcohol-based cleaning accelerant.
Mm-hmm.
Moments later, he was seen sitting down, engulfed in flames. So in this manifesto, he warns of a fascist world coup and then goes on to call for a revolution. Is this guy onto something, or is he crazy, Charlie? What do you
he's
think?
just a nutcase, because it's not even that he's being political, because it's against both presidents, Trump and Biden. So it's not like he's picking one side or the other, but he's just stupid enough to light himself on fire at Trump in front of Trump's courthouse where they were holding a hearing. I
would agree. If you're not too many sensible people would light themselves on fire, so
no, he's just the nutbird.
Yeah, he's well, I mean, it is New York City. I mean, you don't see too many people that would light themselves on fire.
Well, somebody posted,
but you see plenty of them in New York apparently that do stupid stuff like that.
Well, yeah, but somebody posted this on Twitter, and I put, well, that'll teach him, and then I put a picture of the dude from what's it called? Is it Flame On dude from what the hell, the Magnificent Four or something, whatever they're called.
Fantastic Four?
Yeah, the Fantastic Four, that guy that says Flame On, and I put a picture of him on there. Dumbass.
That means something different today.
Yeah, no shit there. Hey, there's some Flame On, all right.
You flame on every day, Charlie.
Yeah, I don't tell. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna get on. We're gonna keep on with this Israel thing. But anyway, first, I want to ask you guys, make sure you go to our Rumble pages. Mine is Country Conservative, and Brendan's is Brendan Statler Show. Check out our videos. Follow us. Give us a thumbs up. share our videos with your friends and family so we can get the truth out to people. That helps our channels grow. And I have to keep messing with my mic here because I don't know why it's turning itself down. But tonight we're going to get into the Israeli retaliation against Iran, which Israel didn't do it. As we could think, and you see CNN and everybody, CNN, of course, is lying out their ass because they even reported it that Iran was doing it. But we'll get into that in a second. But we're also going to go over Joe Biden and the crime syndicate family's influence peddling scheme that has been going on for years and so much more. So let's stop wasting time now. Let's get on with the show. So there's a real reportedly that attacked Israel attacked Iran and in a retaliatory strike against the sites late Thursday night. Friday morning, as U.S. officials confirmed to several media outlets. And this is what we were talking about in the breaking news, that they were not supposed to do this, but even I got the notification on it. And they were telling everybody that they attacked them. So the Democrats, and this must be much more worse than what they're saying about it. So the only reason I would be saying this is because there were 350 plus missiles that Iran did. And wouldn't you attack them too? What the hell is going on here? This don't even want to stay up now. But anyways, let me go to the second one, because as of yesterday, Israel shelved Iran's strike plans due to U.S. pressure. So why would Iran shelve or say they shelved, and then go ahead and bomb it? I think it's because they didn't trust Joe Biden, and rightfully so. Look what the hell he did. He goes ahead and says it anyways. Can you still hear me, Brendan?
I can hear you.
Okay, let me know if I go down too much. So, a couple episodes ago, I stated that Iran could be a year or two away from nuclear weapons. Now, all this has been coming out, and looks like that Iran now is only weeks or days from having a nuclear weapon. Now, the U.S. has always had a stance on Iran never having a nuclear weapon and never becoming a nuclear power. That's until Joe Biden took over. Now, with Iran being weeks, maybe days away from having a nuclear weapon, this is something we have to watch because of Joe Biden's weakness and the Biden administration. That's why we tell you about this election and getting the Democrats out of power as soon as we can do it, because these cowards are as corrupt as hell. And Joe Biden proves his corruption every day. So
yeah,
we have to do
absolutely.
something, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we say just about every night, we're in the most vulnerable position we've ever been, probably in our entire history. The threat of another 9/11 type of attack here on U.S. soil is very likely, and that's very unfortunate to say, but that is the fact. We are in the worst position we've ever been in. We have the weakest leader that we've ever had, or at least the guy that appears to be the leader is the weakest that we've ever had. So, but like I said, look at his response to Israel when he said he didn't support Israel defending themselves. You better believe that would be Joe Biden's response if we were attacked here, because this is what they do. This is what their plan is. They're destroying the country from within. We say this every show, but that is what is happening. And I really believe that here at some point this year before the election, I believe there's a possibility that we could be attacked on U.S. soil. I hope that's not the case. I pray that I'm wrong, but
I don't think
it's looking more and more likely, because we nobody respects us, and how could they when you got Joe Biden representing the nation? You know, it's nobody takes us seriously. We're a joke on the world stage, and you know, it's a very real possibility. Hope it doesn't happen, but it's a possibility.
Yep. Now I'm going to show you this real quick video here, 47 seconds, about the Iran nukes. Take a look at this.
The United States will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon. Now, Iran's destabilizing actions are not just a threat to Israel. They are a challenge to the region and to the world.
How did the United States reach this conclusion? Well, the UN regulators found uranium particles enriched up to 80% purity in Iran. And a United States official said that Iran can produce a nuclear bomb in just 12 days. The International Atomic Energy Agency, known as the IAEA, confirmed these findings by taking samples from Iran's Fordo plant. Iran stood clear and said that they are not making a nuclear bomb.
Now you see that, and this is the most dangerous thing. You didn't have to worry about this because Trump had this stopped when he was in office. And now this weak-ass piece of garbage is letting them get away with all this. He's letting every one of our enemies do what they want to in this country. And this is what we have to get stopped. Now,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, Iran was completely broke while Trump was in office. They had nothing. They were nowhere near close to getting a nuclear weapon. And I believe this all started from Joe Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Because how much money did we leave worth of equipment behind? Billions and billions of dollars worth of equipment. You don't think some of that, you know, well, it definitely ended up in the hands of the Taliban, who is our enemy.
Now it's think it made Mexico it. No.
Yeah, it's all through the place. You don't think the Taliban supplied all of our enemies with weapons and possibly even some cash from those weapons? It's just, of course they did. That's how Iran has been able to get a nuclear weapon. I believe it all starts with our equipment we left behind in Afghanistan. This is why Biden wanted to get out by September 11th because he wanted the photo op. That's all there is to it. It was a disastrous withdrawal. It was nowhere near what President Trump was going to do. We were going to take the equipment out first. The military was going to be the last to come out, which is what anybody with common sense would have done. Biden took the military out first and left the equipment behind. Why would you leave billions of dollars of equipment, you know, behind in Afghanistan where our enemies could take it like they did?
Normally, if they leave anything, they blow it up, so it can't be used.
Well, that's why that's the argument I made before. If you didn't want to bring it back, why couldn't you have it destroyed? Why would you just leave it there? That makes no sense. But like I said,
that's what they do.
But like I said, this is all by design. This is intentional. These are not stupid people we're dealing with here. Joe Biden might be, but like we said, he's a talking head. These people knew what they were doing. Mark Milley, when he was still in Biden's team, he knew what he was doing by doing this. Same with Lloyd Austin. These people all knew what would happen if they left that equipment behind.
You know, it's no different than Joe Biden's corruption is so bad it's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And Jim Comer, you know, invited him to answer questions in front of the Oversight Committee. And I want to let you watch this video of him inviting Joe Biden to answer questions about the crime syndicate family's business dealings. Now, watch this real quick.
So in the coming days, I will invite President Biden to the Oversight Committee to provide his testimony and explain why his
Can you hear that?
Received tens of millions of dollars
Okay.
from foreign companies with his assistance. We need to hear from the president himself. And I assure the American people that they will be able to evaluate for themselves the president's honesty and fitness for the office he now holds.
Okay, now, Joe Biden proves how corrupt he is by, after this, he refused them to go to the House Oversight Panel to answer questions about the Biden crime syndicate family's corruption and influence peddling. That has been going on for years. James Comer gave Biden an ample opportunity to answer a few questions. Well, now after this, Joe Biden's counsel gave Comer Biden's response to the invite. And I quote, "As our office has demonstrated, and you acknowledged in a recent fundraising email that your impeachment investigation is over. It is past time for the House to focus on the issues that matter to the American people, rather than continuing to waste time, taxpayer money, and resources on the partisan charade." Now, in my opinion, if they need to drop this, because I think they need to drop it because we have 7 months left until the November 5th general election. And in 3.5 years, these Republicans have done nothing to hold anyone accountable.
Nope.
Now, in the Biden administration, nobody got held accountable, except they tried to impeach Mayorkas, of course. But what happened there? Democrats in the Senate dismissed all the charges and against the felon Mayorkas, and that's what he is. He's a felon.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Joe Biden, this is what Joe Biden said after he quote unquote won the election or was installed as president. He said that he was going to be the most transparent president ever. It was going to be the most transparent transparent administration ever. Yeah, sorry. But so if he really believed that when he said that, why wouldn't you go before Congress and ask and answer some questions, especially if you're innocent? You think Donald Trump would shy away from answering questions? Why not? If you got nothing to hide, come on, bring it.
You're right there. I had to shut one of my volumes off. I had some feedback going through. But where was I at? Because in 3.5 years, they got nothing done and they wasted money doing stuff. But let me know what you guys think in chat. What do you think they should do? Do you think they should drop it? Or do you think they should continue on and try to get him? Because I don't think it's going to do any good, even if they try to get him, because if they do get him, what do we got to put up with? Camel toe Harris.
Yeah,
and I definitely do not want to put up with that.
Honestly, this is just me speaking. I don't really have an opinion on it one way or the other because, honestly, the Republicans aren't serious. And I don't know if you were going to bring this up at some point, Charlie, but, we were talking about the Ukraine aid bill. And I said yesterday that it was going to pass. Well, it passed today, as we talked about before. And, I have absolutely zero faith in the House GOP anymore. So, this is all theater. Everything that the House GOP does is theater. It's also, they could go on Fox News, on Sean Hannity's show every night and, make an argument for why they should be reelected when they shouldn't be. It's all performative. It's all an act. These people don't actually believe in anything. They're typical politicians. They're just prostitutes. They'll say and do anything that puts money in their pocket. That's all there is to it.
Yep. Now you got Representative Comer calls out the White House, the obstruction and the impeachment inquiry. So I have a little 58-second video of Comer calling out the White House. So I want you to listen to this.
Yeah, the White House continues to lie about Joe Biden's knowledge of, involvement in, and participation with his family in their shady influence peddling schemes. We've proven through this investigation that the Bidens have been influence peddling for decades. We know that China, our biggest adversary, paid the Bidens $9 million for absolutely nothing. Tony Bobulinski testified under oath that $9 million was in fact a bribe from the Chinese government to the Biden family. So I'm not surprised that Joe Biden doesn't want to come and set the record straight to the American people. That he wants to continue to hide behind the liberal mainstream media that are going to continue to run cover and try to indoctrinate the American people that there's no evidence, when in fact we have bank statements, emails, text messages, and sworn testimony, including from 3 Biden family associates who all testified that Joe Biden was the central figure in the Biden influence peddling schemes.
Now, if Joe Biden had nothing to hide, why wouldn't you just go answer questions? It proves
Absolutely.
2 things. So it proves 2 things: that they are corrupt, and that he's so demented that he's such an habitual liar, and that's why they will not let him go answer questions. It's not a fact that he probably won't. It's probably they won't let him as puppet masters. So what do you guys think? Do you think he's that demented, or is he just a habitual liar that he won't go up there? So what do you guys think in chat? Do you think he'll do anything or what?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the two. Of course, he's not going to go testify. It's just that's not going to happen. Anybody that pays the slightest bit of attention to this knows that that's not going to happen. He's going to, like Jim Comer said, even though I, hate agreeing with him, honestly, because he's disappointed me time and time again. But Biden will hide behind the media. The media is not going to hold him accountable. But you bet if it was reversed and it was Donald Trump they were accusing of influence peddling, it would be 24/7 coverage on every news outlet. But they're not going to do that with Biden. So, of course, he's not going to go. Eventually, this is all going to go away. But you're right. If he has nothing to hide, he should go before Congress and answer questions. But he won't do it because he knows he's guilty. He knows he was pimping his son out to China and Ukraine, and they were getting intel, I believe. They were getting something. I mean, because just common sense tells you, why would Burisma hire a crackhead that has 0 experience in their field? He had absolutely 0 experience, but his father just happened to be vice president of the United States, now president.
And what were they paying him? $50,000 or $60,000 a month or something like that?
Oh yeah. It was a stupid amount. It's like you don't give that to a crackhead that has no experience. And China
experience.
Yeah, and China was paying him something similar. So, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that they were getting some type of intel from Hunter and the rest of the Bidens, because Jim Biden, Joe Biden's brother, was involved in all this too.
Yep. Now, you got Jim, Jordan, and Comer asking questions, and they've been asking the FBI about if Biden received defense briefings related to his family influence peddling by the FBI, because the FBI was actually doing an investigation into them while he was still vice president. So I want you to listen to Comer talk about this, because the FBI, of course, is stonewalling him now. So take a look at this video, and it's a little longer. It's about 1:31, but it got some good information in it. I could have let it go for 8 minutes because it's got some great information, but I broke it down for you. Listen to this.
Well, we have reason to believe that Joe Biden was given a briefing from the intelligence community pertaining to what they knew about the problems that Hunter Biden had. We believe this briefing came from the Office of Director of National Intelligence. We want confirmation from that from the FBI, or we want in writing, or for the Department of Justice, whether or not that happened. We want that in writing, that answer, and you can imagine why. But we also know, according to the New York Post, that Abby Lowell met at the White House, and the Biden legal team met with people in the White House prior to the date that Hunter Biden was supposed to come in front of Congress. So we know there's coordination, there's collusion. We want to know if the ODNI was involved in that as well, and that's why we've requested this information. I mean, this is the most corrupt family that's ever occupied the White House. This is the biggest political corruption scandal of my lifetime. And all they want to say about the investigation on MSNBC and CNN is that the evidence is Russian disinformation. We haven't been able to tie the president into anything. 3 of Biden's former business associates have all testified under oath that Joe Biden was the central figure in the influence peddling scheme. We all know they were influence peddling. And we know they were influence peddling with our biggest enemies around the world, including China, to the tune of $9 million.
Now you see there, yet again, though, the FBI is covering for him, for this demented old fool and the Biden family syndicate. But for what reason? What the hell does Joe Biden what could he be holding over these people's heads that they will cover for him like this and cover for these crimes? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think, like I said before, I think a lot of these people are being blackmailed. But if Jim Comer really believed everything he was saying, though, and this goes for many House Republicans, they should have. Articles of impeachment should have been right away. We talked about this yesterday. You could get them on the southern border alone. But there is so much evidence with this influence peddling. Like he said, they have bank statements. They have text messages from Hunter Biden's phone. Donald Trump got impeached for a phone call. It turned out there was nothing there. Why is it that the Republicans cannot fight like the Democrats? It's so frustrating. They will impeach and indict Donald Trump for anything they could possibly impeach him on or indict him on. But we have mountains of evidence with the influence peddling, and we have the southern border. Why have we still not introduced articles of impeachment for Joe Biden? I mean, yes, it would die in the Senate, but it's still the point. Just do it. Show like you have some stones.
They don't.
Republicans don't, and that's why I say I'm honestly concerned that we're going to lose the House and Democrats are going to retain the Senate. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, what have Republicans done to earn a vote? They haven't done anything.
No shit there, and they've got
nothing at all.
Something. Oh, we are going to lose this before November.
And I think it is all intentional, so people will go and vote Democrat, and the Democrats will take the House, so President Trump can't do anything when he gets back in. I think this is all intentional. I think people like Jim Jordan and James Comer, and really a lot of these people, I think they're trying to take Trump out. I really do. I don't think either of them are on our side. I don't believe it. They
gain control of the Senate and the House. Day one after he's sworn in, he'll be impeached.
Oh yeah, for sure. It'll be as soon as he takes his hand off the Bible.
Yep.
They will impeach him. And yep. I think that's why they haven't done anything. I think that's why you see Mike Johnson passing CRs and omnibus bills in the middle of the night, sending money to Ukraine and sending money everywhere, but to fix our border. Doing everything but fix our border. So that, I think it is all by design. I think the Republicans are trying to take out Trump. That's Jim Jordan. That's James Comey. That's Mike Johnson. That Kevin McCarthy. All these people. That's what I believe it is. The only ones that are really fighting for the country and the MAGA movement are the Matt Gaetzes, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Andy Biggs, these types. The rest are trying to take out Trump. I'm telling you, these people are not on our side.
Nope.
But we have to vote red. I hate that we're in this situation, but it's the hand we're dealt. None of us like it. Hopefully,
if we do not, we are screwed.
Yeah, we cannot let the House go blue. We can't let it happen.
No, because one thing that will happen, and this is what's going to happen, and the Biden's radical agenda is going to cause irreparable harm if he gets back in and they put through the digital dollar. And it will happen. Biden's reckless spending in pursuit of the radical left agenda is driving the national debt to a crisis level. His own Congressional Budget Office is saying his massive deficit spending poses a significant risk to the fiscal and economic outlook of America. Now, economists say that Social Security, Medicaid, and defense will need to be cut to pay the cost of servicing all this debt. But JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon calls it the debt that most predictable crisis. Wharton, Professor Gomes, I think it is, says that the debt's consequences will be severe and leave a lasting, probably irreversible scars on our economy and society. So the same massive spending inflating the debt that these Democrats have been doing are a result of today's unchecked inflation and crippling interest rates, which the feds have no intentions of reducing them. So Biden is mortgaging you, me, and your family's future to secure his position in that White House. So this is something that we cannot have, and because you got Janet Yellen. Oh my God. She is the Secretary of Finance or something like that. So
Treasury.
Yeah, she is, because they have a thing on the next article is it reads, politics aside, what's the plan for a U.S. central digital currency? Now, the problem with this is if it has to do with digital currency, it's because of politics. You cannot put politics aside. The politicians are the only ones that can do this. But if you listen to this Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, she says everything's great, just fine. The economy's great. People are loving this economy. She's so full of shit, is unbelievable.
Yeah, these people really think we're stupid, I think. I mean, and, they really think that we don't notice when we go to the grocery store or we put gas in our car that we're paying way more. Like, I want to bang my head off a wall every time I hear somebody say gas is down. Gas is not down. It has been up since Biden has been in the White House. Until you get it below what Trump had it the day he left the White House, gas is still up. It is nowhere near where Trump had it when he left. It may have been down from where it peaked, but it's still up. Prices of everything are still up.
Where the hell are they saying it's down? Now it's higher than it was last year.
They've been saying it ever since Biden's been in the White House. They've been saying that gas is down and the economy's great. More jobs created than any other administration. All this bullshit that they say. It's
like
they
you
really
just said though. If they don't get it down to where Trump had it, you're not gonna. It's not down.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And they think that we're all so stupid that we don't see this. And I love the people on social media, the dipshit liberals that will parrot this same garbage and say how great the economy is. I don't care what your opinion is of Trump. You cannot possibly believe that this economy is great. I don't care where you stand politically. There are people I know that don't pay attention to politics whatsoever, and they say how bad this economy is.
Well, that's why I wish that GH would come back on here. That GH that was from YouTube that was talking the other day, and I asked him, just tell me something that is good about this economy under Joe Biden. And I named off a bunch of stuff that was good under Trump. But of course, he couldn't name anything, and he got mad and said he was leaving, and now he's not coming back.
He's like, but Trump's a racist. CNN told me.
So, but you know what? If this happens, if Democrats get back in, if even if it's not that demented Joe and another Democrat gets in, we're going to end up like Canada. Now, Canada is already doing something like this. Now, in 2022, that piece of shit Justin Trudeau and his commie government allowed authorities to suppress protesters. That group of 12,000 truckers, when they had that protest over the COVID-19 vaccine mandates. Now, in an authoritarian way, they froze the truckers' private and business bank accounts. They canceled their credit cards. They suspended their insurances. The government amended the Proceeds of Crime, Money Laundering, and Terrorist Financing Act, preventing the people from crowdfunding donations to these truckers, and said that they will be prosecuted under a terrorist finance law if they collected money for these truckers and their spouses, or cash, or they even blocked them to get cash or cryptocurrency if they had crypto in Canada. Now, this is what's coming to our streets. If our country, and we don't, and you idiots electing Democrats, they are going to control every aspect of your life. Now, it's time to put a stop to the tyranny in this country. Now, I got a video here, and it's about 1 minute 49, and this is a man, Steve Forbes, telling you his opinion on this digital dollar. Now, if you can't believe this guy, you're stupid as hell. So listen to this.
But central bank digital money is ominous. The downside of governments being able to track digitally every single product or service you buy and sell is chilling. This is where China's headed. India has been trying to reassure skeptics by declaring that transactions would stay, quote, largely anonymous, end quote. But government bureaucracies won't be able to resist the temptation. They'll always have excuses like fighting crime or combating tax cheating. CBDCs would give officials a powerful tool of control and manipulation. It would be an irresistible drug for central banks trying to direct the economy. If they think the economy is overheating, they could freeze a certain percentage of your cash. Or if these poobahs decide that things are too slow, they could punish people who, they conclude, are saving too much. Spend it or lose it, they could decree. If you have undesirable political views, you might not be able to access your money, since traditional cash would be outlawed and your digital cash would be in a government-approved digital wallet. Digital cash would even allow governments to fine-tune monetary policy with individualized interest rates. Then there's the all-too-real challenge of security. Digital cash systems would be a hacker's delight. The treasure trove of data governments would have on every aspect of your life would be breached. As for speeding up payments, that can be achieved with improved electronic transfers. The Federal Reserve already has an experiment with that underway called FedNow. Congress should immediately hold hearings on the subject of central bank digital cash and ban the Fed from creating a digital dollar. Government digital cash is a formula for tyranny.
Now, you might want to take advice from this guy because I think he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's absolutely 100% right. He mentioned, and I've mentioned this before too, if you do not fall in line with the regime, they'll freeze your bank account. You won't be able to access your money. Like you mentioned earlier, this is currently happening in Canada. I really believe that when COVID hit and we weren't able to use cash, remember we had to use debit cards. That's all we were able to use. We couldn't use cash for nothing. I really believe that was a dry run for a cashless society. And if you go to concerts or sporting events now, every stadium and arena that I know of anyway is still cashless. You cannot use cash. You have to use a card. They are pushing hard for this, and that is the reason why. Because all it is a touch of a button. They freeze all your money. We need to look at what is happening in Canada, and that should scare every one of us because that's, of course, they're just north of us. That's the country that is the most similar to the United States. If it could happen there, it could definitely happen here. This is some scary stuff. We need to resist this with everything we have.
Well, I've said this before. If it comes here, this digital currency, any bills
It's over.
they will control it. If you get
Yep.
your taxes if you owe tax to the IRS, they'll take it right away. anything that you have, if you have a fine for a parking ticket or something like that, or they're going to take it. And if they don't like what they see in your account, they'll freeze your account. They'll lock you out of it so you cannot get any money out of it. They will control every aspect of your money, be it rich, be it poor. Of course, they're going to attack the poor more than they are the rich.
Yeah.
So we do not need this. We do not want this.
No.
We
No,
have
I guarantee you. I guarantee you our bank accounts would be frozen just for doing these videos, Charlie. So
Oh yeah. Well,
it
they
would
can freeze
be.
mine. I don't have any money anyway, so what the hell?
Well, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
either.
So
But yeah, this is something that should freak everyone out. It's they will control every aspect of your life if this happens. Every freedom that you have in the Bill of Rights will be completely shredded because if they control your money, they control everything.
Yep. Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Oh yeah. Now keeping up with the November 5th election, that's coming up very quickly.
Not quick enough.
Yeah, no kidding. Conservatives urge the House to hold a hearing on Google Gemini. If you guys ever heard of that, that's the AI, the Google application. Now, they're talking about the 2024 election integrity concerns. Now, the hearing Republicans are calling for would increase public scrutiny about Google's AI application, potentially inherent bias. Now, I use AI, and it's called Copilot. I look up stuff for certain information when I'm setting up our show, but I have a problem with it because I ask it what time it was where I live. It gives me something of a date from a year ago, and a time was like 3 in the morning, and it was noon. So I told it updates itself, and I told it what time it was and everything like that. And it tells me it can't even update itself to recent times or data. So how the hell can you trust it to give you the truth or real information?
Yeah, AI is a big problem at the moment. Like you said, it's inaccurate, and quite frankly, it's woke. It's already woke, and AI hasn't even been around that long. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was this same application or not, but it was one of these AI platforms. When they would ask, show me a picture of George Washington. George Washington would come up black.
Yep.
George Washington was not black, and it would do this like for every person, every historical figure that was white.
It was
they would
Gemini.
come up. Yeah, they would come up as black. Like what were some? I think Thomas Jefferson was another one.
Yeah, there was another one too, but I can't remember.
They did it with like the Vikings too. The Vikings definitely were not black. So, but yeah, AI is going to be a big problem. It's going to be this artificial intelligence as well as the transhumanism going into it. The robots and stuff. This is going to be a very big problem if we don't get a hold on this stuff.
Well, even Elon Musk is saying that AI is dangerous, and he's building these robots and stuff, the humanoid ones. Right. But I want you to hear from Google himself on this video. It's only a 30-second video, and Google themselves. Listen to what he has to say.
Google has announced restrictions on the AI chatbot Gemini from answering questions about the global elections this year.
Google has begun restricting its Gemini AI chatbot from answering questions about the upcoming general elections in India and other countries. The news comes after Gemini was embroiled in a series of controversies last month, following which Google also had to pause Gemini's image generation capabilities. AI influence is growing. What are your views on it?
No, you guys in chat and the guys listening in, what do you guys think about it? Have you guys tried it out? Have you used it? I know on my editing program, there's some AI stuff, and it'll give you, if you put in some certain words and stuff, it'll make you a thumbnail or it'll make you some kind of screen shot or something like that. It doesn't work too good for me, but if you guys have any experience with this AI stuff, let me know in chat to see if there's something I'm missing or whatever. But when Elon Musk, one of the smartest men in the world, say it's dangerous if it's not controlled properly, and he says that, you people need to listen because he's pretty smart.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not necessarily an Elon Musk fan for many reasons. Most recent reason, he flagged some of my posts on Twitter, and I thought he was supposed to be all about free speech, but that's another discussion. But Elon Musk is one of the smartest people alive. I mean, you don't acquire that kind of wealth and not be smart. You know what I mean? You can't be dumb and acquire that kind of wealth. So he's warning against this. There's definitely something to this, and it just makes sense to somebody with common sense that this could really get out of hand if we don't take control of this. I mean, it's because AI and transhumanism will start to evolve, and it'll, because the way AI works, it's actually, it gets smarter over time. It adapts. So this could be really dangerous if we don't get a hold on this. And a lot of people don't want to talk about this because most people dismiss it as crazy, but it's not crazy at all.
I don't know.
It's here.
I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, and some of you guys that are listening in will remember the Furbies. Do you remember Furbies?
Yeah, those things are friggin' creepy.
And they are supposed to do the same thing. The more you talk to it and interacted with it, they got smarter. So there you're talking about the humanoid part of it back then. And that was, I think, in the 80s when the Furby came out. So let's get into this now because we haven't heard this and haven't talked about this in a while. And this is talking about, every day we get stuff coming out about COVID-19 and it proves all along that we've been right. And the conspiracy theories that people say that we were putting out are not conspiracy theories anymore. Now we have a science publisher that's now apologizing for dismissing the lab leak as spurned. Congressional hearing Democrats accused GOPs of setting a dangerous precedent that if Congress doesn't like what you publish or whatever, they hold your ass in and they shut you down, like YouTube shut me down, and saying it was conspiracy and it goes against their bullshit community standards or whatever. Just the typical responses from Democrats. But this witness testimony proves that the Democrats were hiding information about COVID-19. Now, the other chief of the major science publisher gave congressional Republicans out at the hearing on Tuesday afternoon a limited ammunition in their efforts to characterize federal officials as unduly influencing COVID-19 origin research. They were supplementing the ongoing release of communications that suggested that the feds had something to hide. Now, Holden Thorpe, who oversees the news and research opinion at the Science family of journals, repeatedly told the Select Committee on the coronavirus pandemic that he and his peers fell short by failing to better explain to the public that science, and these are big words right here, and you got to listen to this because they were pushing science during COVID, but they said that work is in progress and that scientists are opinionated. Now, this is not what they said during COVID. They said, follow the science. Always follow the science. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Trust the science. Now, but should you change your minds when you see this new data? Now, that totally goes against everything that the Democrats have pushed for years, saying follow science. And now these professionals, they are professionals for science journals, are saying that scientists and science are only opinions and not facts. So this Thorpe seemed most embarrassed when the panel chairman, Brad Winstrup, a Republican from Ohio, asked him to account for his tweet mocking the GOP's evidence that the lab leak theory was mediocre episode of Homeland, the show, the Showtime thriller, in the subcommittee's first original hearings 13 months ago. Then Thorpe was one of the scientists, apologized for his remarks from that platform, now which was X, and he said he got off of now because he highly recommends people get off of it because it made his life so much better. Now he doesn't have to take his blood pressure anymore because he's not on there. But so you see, everything comes out now are lies, and that's proves that the Democrats knew about this virus, except for the fact that it was a planned virus by the Democrats, paid for with your tax money and Anthony Fauci. And you know the bad part about it? Nobody will be held accountable for it.
No, and you could tell that the Dems were lying about this. Really, from the start, liars don't like being questioned, and they always said, "Don't question the science, follow the science," as we said before. Science is all about asking questions, especially when you're dealing with something that's supposedly new, like COVID was at the time. It's all about asking questions, and and that's the thing that really bugged me. Fauci would always flip flop, and he would say, "Well, the data changed, and the data changed to that," and it's like, so the data can change to where you're saying something the complete opposite of what you were saying before, but we can't question the science. Like, how do those two go hand in hand?
Exactly.
That just shows that science sometimes is not absolute. It's all about asking questions and doing research and all this stuff. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. You know, how many famous scientists have turned out to be wrong about something and somebody disproves them, you know, years down the road. It happens all the time through recorded history.
Yep.
It happens all the time, but you know, you couldn't raise any questions about it, or you were a conspiracy theorist and you wanted to kill old people.
That's for sure.
It's ridiculous.
But I think I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. So thank you for joining us tonight on this thought-provoking episode as we discuss the wars in the Middle East. It's clear that the reasons remain complex and volatile in the landscape. President Joe Biden's policies have drawn criticism, while some argued that his administration's increased the military involvement risk perpetuated the cycle of conflict, and others appreciate his efforts to address humanitarian needs in places like Gaza, which is a terrorist-run country or state, whatever they call them over there. Corruption remains a concern. The push for digital dollar adds another layer of complexity to our economy landscape. As we continue to navigate these issues, let's stay informed and engaged. I encourage you to share this episode with your friends and family, subscribe or follow our channels. Again, mine is Country Conservative here on Rumble, and Brendan's is The Brendan Statler Show. Please leave us a review in the comment sections because this makes our channel better. It reaches more people. So we can foster meaningful conversations and seek resolutions for a better future. So until next time, I'm Charlie, the Country Conservative, signing off for the Conservative Viewpoint. Keep seeking the truth. Good night, everyone.
And I'm Brendan Statler. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. God bless.
See you Monday.